What's up everybody, good morning crewmates and welcome to another Disneyland Paris haul video. We've got a great big bag of stuff to get through. Don't worry, it's not all pins, there are some other things in there as well. Although of course there are pins as well. There are always going to be pins. But there is a lot of stuff to get through, so let's crack on and have a look and see what we've got. Now, the very first thing that I bought at this year's trip, or this September's trip, was one of the champagne flutes. So the Disneyland Paris champagne flute. So it's actually kind of strange because I'm not used to Magic Kingdom Disneyland parks selling alcohol. So this is still something that kind of feels weird to me to actually drink champagne in a Disney park other than Epcot. But here we go, I did it, and we got the like souvenir champagne flute to go with it. So that's something that's going to go on my display case. It's just a nice little memento, and it was pretty good champagne as well. And I know these aren't technically merch, but I was actually quite pleased to see the return of physical guide maps in the park. So they've been absent ever since obviously COVID, and usually you always have to rely on the app. And unfortunately you still kind of do, because although there is a map inside these, there's pretty much nothing else other than just like a QR code to take you to the app, and that will obviously show you like wait times and stuff like that. It does kind of irritate me that you spend so much time on a phone when you're in Disneyland now, just constantly looking like wait times and what's open and what's closed and having to check it and then having to rely on the Wi-Fi and blah blah blah. So at least there was some kind of like physical thing, because I always like taking these, like every day I'd go into the park, I'd pick one up. I have done some giveaways in the past as well, because some people actually weirdly collect these. So yeah, I've obviously got more than one, so maybe I'll do that again. But I just like them as a little souvenir, it's just a little keepsake. So I was quite pleased to see these come back. There's also a ton of receipts in here, but we're not going to worry about those. Next thing at the top of the pile, and really randomly, is these Ratatouille tea towels. Now, I know it's the most random thing to go to a Disney park and buy, but it was more of a case that I saw them and actually remembered that I needed some new ones, so I figured I'd get them. And it was basically a choice between the Ratatouille ones or ones that were just like black and white with Mickey and Minnie on them. But as I was in the Ratatouille shop at the time, I kind of figured that it had to be. And to me, it just makes sense. Like cooking, kitchens, Ratatouille's your guy. So yeah, I kind of got those. I thought they were kind of cool. I will definitely be using those. And pretty much from tonight, they'll be in heavy action, I suspect, doing a lot of washing up. Very exciting in my life. Now I am just going to show you one pin separate from the others, which is this one here, which I'll open up in a moment, but I wanted to obviously show you the box that it comes in as well. So we had dinner at Walt's American Diner, probably my favorite restaurant in Disneyland Paris now. Captain Jack's is quite close, but with this one, when I saw that they were doing souvenir pins, I definitely had to get one. Now, I did get a souvenir pin from Walt's way back when the 30th was happening, which I figured was just a 30th thing. I didn't know that they were actually still doing more of these as just like a generic Walt's Diners pin. So I was very happy to see these and definitely had to get one. So if you saw my vlog at the time, you'll have seen me open this up. But what I loved about it was the fact that it came in this box. It also comes in a choice of colors as well. So if I just open this up, I can show you. There we go. So if we open it up, there we go. There's the actual pin. So obviously I got the green one. I think the other colors, it comes in yellow and red, and you've obviously got that quote on the other side of that as well. So I just love that. That's probably going to be one of my favorite pins ever, just because, yeah, it's my favorite restaurant. If you're a Walt Disney fan specifically, like old school Disney fan, I think you could appreciate that quite a lot. So as far as my pin collection goes, this one's going to be like properly treasured for a very long time. That is right up there as one of my favorite ones that I have. And if I do go back, I'd love to go back to Walt's and maybe get like the other colored versions, but they are very limited edition. I think this one, I can't remember how many they said that they get printed, but it's not a lot. There are not a lot of these available. So very happy and pleased that I was there and able to get and come away with one of these. So yeah, super happy with this pin. If you did watch the Disney vlogs from a couple of months ago, you'll remember that one of the videos we did was me surviving the Tower of Terror challenge, where basically I'd never been on the ride before. It kind of has always freaked me out a little bit, but was always something that I wanted to do, but for many years had kind of just basically wussed out at the last minute and never did. So Pippa had challenged me to do it, And she said that there were going to be a number of rides that would go on leading up to it to kind of get me ready for like the drops and the sensation and the feeling of it and all that kind of thing, which really, really worked. But there were some incentives as well. So Pippa said that she was going to get me a pin if I completed the challenge, which she did, and I'll show you that later. But I personally wanted to get something else as well. So I got one of the collector keys for the Tower of Terror. Now, if you saw my haul video from when we went back in March, you'll remember that I got a Pirates one, and I think the other one was a Phantom Manor one. So now we've got the Tower of Terror key to go with the collection. So I'll show you the others later on. But I just think that's kind of cool. As far as like a memento is concerned, and just trying to give you something to like commemorate the fact that I completed it, I was pretty happy with this. So obviously you got like the elevator numbers at the top there, try and keep it in the light so you can see. And then like the elevator shaft, and then you've got the building at the end of the key there. So I really like these. I think these are really, really cool. And I started to see like really random rides are getting their own keys now as well. So it's becoming a bit of a massive set. I've now got 4. One of them is the limited edition one, which is the Star Tours anniversary key, which when they started doing these keys, they were always like to commemorate something. So they were very limited release. You couldn't actually get them on the shelf. You had to kind of queue up for them and get a ticket for them, and it was very complicated. Now they seem to be a bit more like readily available, and you can just buy them off the shelf. And there's tons of them, so they're not so limited now. So although I think they still do limited edition versions, and I'm very obviously happy that I've got one, this now brings my total key collection up to 4. So very happy with that. And I can't wait to get back on that ride. I absolutely loved it. So very happy to have a little souvenir of that challenge as well. Another bit of random merch was this Santa Fe postcard, which was just in the room when we got there. So nothing particularly fancy or special about it. It's just a postcard, but it was free. So naturally it counts of my merch list, and I'll probably keep that with the park maps in my pin bag. So just a nice little free souvenir. I remember in Sequoia, they also had like these story cards of different characters as well. So things like that, when they just give you like a few freebies in the hotel, it's just a nice little extra kind of added bonus. So just something that we came away with. Now, as I mentioned it earlier, and just to separate it out from the other pins, this was the Hollywood Tower of Terror pin that Pippa got me for achieving the challenge and actually getting on the ride for the first ever time. And I think we ended up then going back on it about 4 or 5 times because I really, really liked it in the end. So super happy that I finally got on that ride, and a nice little pin to commemorate the fact that I finally did it. And it's a nice little pin. I like it. It's like a hotel room key as well, which is nice. I love the style of that, so very, very happy with that, and a big thank you to Pippa for getting that for me as well. So that's definitely a special one for the collection. Nice memories attached to that. One of the other things that you'll know from the vlogs that we talked about a lot was the fact that Walt Disney Studios is obviously going under a lot of construction at the moment, and it is being renamed. So when I saw this one and only Walt Disney Studios lanyard in, I think it was the World of Disney store, I absolutely had to get it because I thought it was obviously going to commemorate the fact that that whole park is going to be renamed and won't be called Walt Disney Studios anymore. So I wanted something that actually had the name on it, which obviously it does on the side. I'm really sad that they're changing the name of this park, and changing it to Disney Adventure World just sounds unbelievably gimmicky, and I think really they're just making a play off of Disney California Adventure, I think really is what they've done. But they've made it a little bit more generic so that it's more easy to understand in sort of like continental Europe where you're a bit more multilingual. It's obviously a little bit more easy to understand. Disney Adventure World is probably a little bit more recognizable across different sort of language barriers throughout Europe. But all of that aside, the fact that Walt Disney Studios is going and being rebranded essentially to just try and get a little bit of merch for that park before the name change was something that I really wanted to see. So when I saw this, I absolutely had to get it, of course. I love the fact that it's like a movie strip on there as well. And obviously on that side, you can just make out there, you've got like the Studio One and the water tower as well, which are staying so far as I'm aware. I don't think they're going anywhere, but obviously they'll look very different and be rebranded. And then obviously you've got the wallet or packet thing there at the end for your tickets to go to and stuff, which by the way are not reliable, because this was the one I actually used when we were in the park, and as you can see, the little kind of like plastic loop at the top completely snapped off by the time I got home. Very, very lucky that this did not break while we were there and would have inevitably lost my entire life as far as the tickets and like entrance to the hotels and all that kind of stuff is concerned. So great idea, not very well made, and inevitably they do break. So I do like getting lanyards. I don't really use them for pins because I wouldn't consider myself a trader as such. I'm more of a collector of pins, but I like having a lanyard as well. But usually it's so that I can get to my ticket really quickly and easily to like scan in. We parked up quite a lot, so it's just easier to know exactly where it was and be able to get to it really, really quickly. So I'm a bit gutted that the actual thing broke, and I'm a bit worried that ones in the future are going to as now. So I'm not really sure whether I will keep using these as storage for tickets, because you've got to be really, really careful not to lose these. These are your life once you're in Disney. So yeah, be a little bit careful. Not the most reliable things in the world. I probably won't use this one anyway, but yeah, there we go. I mean, every time I go, I generally will tend to get another lanyard to add to that collection as well. So just be a little bit careful. Not the most secure, everlasting things in the world. That said though, I do really like it. And also, just to show you, there's a couple of little charms that are on there as well. Try and get them in focus if I can. So you've got like I don't know what they call those, like clapper boards. Maybe someone can correct me on those. And then like kind of like the Hollywood Walk of Fame star as well. So nice little like studio Hollywood references. And yeah, I'm really sad to see that park go, but glad I got just a little bit of merch to commemorate what it currently is and what it will inevitably used to be. Now we are getting close to me having to show you all of the pins that I bought back, but I've got another couple of things to show you that aren't pins, but I will just show you these ones because we were just getting into the Halloween season when we were there. Like some of the decks were just starting to go up. A little bit more would appear each morning when they were doing stuff overnight, and I scoured the park to try and find better Halloween pins, but they really weren't a lot, and I think that the best ones didn't come out until like the week after we got back. But there had been some really, really nice ones that I had wanted that came out the week before, or 2 weeks before we went there. But I think that they were some sort of exclusive of an event or something. But basically, I couldn't get them. So these were the ones that I settled with in the end. So let's show you this one first, which is the Spider-Man / Peter Parker Marvel Pumpkin. I kind of like it. It's kind of cool. There's no real connection between Spider-Man and Halloween, so it is a little bit weird, but you can just see the details there if I get it in the light. It's not just a red pumpkin, he's also got the lines of Spider-Man's mask all over it as well, so it's nice, I like it. It's a little Halloween keepsake, and I mean, who doesn't love Spider-Man? So there we go, that's one of the pins that I bought back. I don't think it's limited edition, but it's certainly like obviously a Halloween commemorative pin, so yeah, really pleased to get that one. And then there's this one as well. So we've got Pascal on the broomstick. Now, there were a few that were like this of different characters. And for the life of me, I can't remember who the other two characters were, but I think one of them was Stitch. Stitch is on absolutely everything in Disneyland Paris. I have no idea why that character is so popular there. I genuinely don't get it. Like, I know there's a live action Stitch coming up, but there hasn't been any like new Stitch content for many, 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 many years. So why he's so popular in Disneyland Paris, I've got no idea. But I didn't want any more Stitch stuff, so I went for the Pascal one, which I actually really liked. I like the colours on this. It's a nice little Halloween thing. I'm starting to get a pretty decent collection of just specifically Halloween pins, which inevitably I will show you at some point. But there we go. So I really like that. I just thought it was kind of cool, kind of fun. He's a cool character as well. I quite like him. I'd like to see him in more stuff, actually, to be honest with you. So there we go. Nice little pin. Nice little commemorative thing for Halloween this year as well. Now, away from pins, because we'll come back to that later, I do have one thing which is wrapped up in here that I had actually completely forgotten that I had purchased. So let's check this out. Just for the record and between you and me, the reason why I forget about all of this stuff usually is because they get put in a bag. I wait to do these videos before I get any of it back out again, but we've had MCM Comic Con in between going to Disney and now, so I had kind of forgotten about a few things that were here. So we've got just a little coffee cup there. So obviously it's an espresso cup, and I'd kind of been on the lookout for one of these. I did sort of intend to get one because I remembered that when we went back in March, Pippa had bought one for somebody, and I remember regretting not getting my own one because I like espresso. I'm definitely a coffee drinker, there's no doubt about that. So they had a few different ones, but I stuck to Mickey because, of course, why wouldn't you? And I liked the fact that on the back of it said, all I need is coffee, because that's pretty much a good summary of my existence, really. It is run very much on caffeine. So there we go, just a nice little espresso cup, nice and simple. That'll definitely get used, there's no doubt about that. I will be drinking from this, now that I've remembered that I've got it, quite routinely. So yeah, I just really like that. I thought it was really nice. It's also quite a nice material. You probably can't tell on camera, but it's got quite a nice matte finish on some of it. So it's just really cool. I love that. Now I want some coffee. Now this I definitely remembered getting, and I've been looking forward to seeing this because I actually haven't taken it out of the box. So essentially what this is, we went to Captain Jack's and on the menu they had a cocktail that came in a souvenir cup. So if you saw the vlogs, you will remember this and you will have seen this before. And at the time I said, I'll show you this when I get back to the hotel with a bit better light and let you see it. But I didn't do that because basically what happens, they give you a souvenir cup to drink a cocktail out of, and then when you've finished, they actually bring out another one for you to take away. So as it was all boxed up and sealed, I haven't opened it until now. So let's take a look. Hopefully this survived the journey in one piece. I think it probably did. There we go. So here we are, the Pirates of the Caribbean, Captain Jack's souvenir cup. Now, I'm sorry, but that is so cool. It is also a pretty big size as well. I mean, it's actually quite large. So the cocktail that came in it, I had the non-alcoholic version, which was kind of like a very, very fruit punch. So it was full of bits of coconut and fruit and tasted like mango, and it could have done with a splash of rum is all I'm saying. But I just love that cup though. That is just so cool. Now this I know I want to put on my magic bookcase, the display cabinet downstairs. So I'll show you that in a moment. Exactly where I'm going to find the space to put this, I'm not sure. As I say, it is a pretty good size. You've got stuff on the other side as well. So you've got Disneyland Paris logo at the bottom. You've obviously got Captain Jack's restaurant on the back of it as well, at the barrel. And then the nice big Captain Jack's logo on the front of it. This is really, really large. I highly doubt that I will ever actually use this as a cup. This to me is just like a souvenir that's going to get displayed like a museum piece. I know it's sad, but I love this. This is probably the best thing that I've come away with, in my opinion. The Waltz pin, the Waltz Diner pin, that's probably a close second. And the Tower of Terror stuff I really love. But this was my pride and joy coming back. So I'm super, super glad to see that it did survive the journey. It is in one piece. And by not using it, I intend for it to stay that way. So there we go. I am absolutely thrilled to get this. Genuinely, I can't remember how much it was, but these kind of like souvenir cups and things that you get as obviously like one-off limited things that these restaurants sell, they're not cheap. I mean, I don't think the pin was particularly cheap, but unfortunately I have completely forgotten how much these things cost. It's very much a case of, I obviously have like a daily budget that I give myself in terms of spending, and if I see something I want and it's in budget, I get it. I don't really pay much attention to how much I'm spending as long as I'm staying within my budget. So I just see it and I get it. But when you get limited edition stuff like this, or stuff that's commemorative, or stuff that you can only get in a particular restaurant or at a particular time or in a certain event, those things are my favorite things. So this is right up there. This is really cool. I love this. Hopefully you like it as well. And yeah, I'll show you later on where it's going to go on the cabinet downstairs. So now we've come to that time. I've obviously already shown you a few, but now we've got the rest of the pins to go through. And as you can see, I did pretty well this time. Now I'm going to start off with this one because although it's really simple, when I saw this, I was like, yeah, I really like that. I just really, really like it. It's obviously Captain America. So yeah, I kind of fell in love with that one. But the weird thing about this pin is that I couldn't find it. I had seen it in the Buzz Lightyear store at the end of the Laser Blast ride on like day one. Went back to go and get it on day two and it was gone. There was none left whatsoever. So it actually took me a couple of days to find another one. And inevitably it was eventually an Avengers Campus where I finally found it. So there we go. I just really liked it. I've got quite a few Marvel pins and Avengers pins and Avengers Campus pins now. So obviously as well as that Halloween one for Spider-Man 2. So I'll show you the complete pins and the whole set in another video because I've discovered that Pippa has challenged me to show you my entire pin collection, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'm always really happy to come away with anything to do with Avengers in terms of merch and pins and stuff like that. So although really simple, kind of basic, I love it. Now the rest of the pins are basically just split up into either Pirates of the Caribbean pins or Phantom Manor pins. We'll start off with the Pirates pins because there's less of them. So here's the first one. If you saw my haul video from back in March, although I think I only put the video up a few months ago, there were a lot more Pirates of the Caribbean pins. So these were just another couple to add to that set. So we've obviously got this one here with the logo there. Again, I'm a massive Pirates of the Caribbean fan. If I see something with pirates on it, I want to get it. So I love the souvenir cup, and I've got a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean pins. So when I do the pin haul or actual total pin collection video, expect to see a lot of Pirates things. But I really like this. I just think that's so cool. And then similarly, along the same lines, we've got this one as well. So you've got the tower. If you saw the vlog that I did with some of the behind the scenes and secrets of the making of Pirates of the Caribbean, you'll remember that I spoke about the outside facade quite a little bit, and that you've actually got that there on a pin with the flag just at the top there as well. You've obviously got the swords and the Pirates of the Caribbean logo. Again, it's Pirates, so I love it. It's just as simple as that. Absolutely love it. The rest of the pins are all Phantom Manor themed, which was not something that I set out to do. It's just that I couldn't kind of choose which one I wanted the most, so I just got all of them. I love all of them individually, but I mean, that one is just obviously classic. I really like the colours as well. All of these have kind of got purple, black and green going on, which is kind of cool because that's consistent with my channel colour scheme, if some of you have been paying attention. But there we go, I really like that. You've obviously got the actual manor there. It's quite a bulky pin too, quite large, and I just love that. I just love it. Phantom Manor is like one of the best rides ever. In fact, I would say it's kind of difficult to choose whether Phantom Manor is better than Haunted Mansion. I think the story for Phantom Manor is better than the Haunted Mansion ones, but that maybe the Haunted Mansion rides are a little longer, so you get to see more, and they've got some slightly more iconic stuff with like the Hatbox Ghost and stuff like that. But as far as Paris is concerned, well, we've got the Phantom, so we've kind of got like our own version of that sort of stuff. But I love that. Very cool. And of course I mentioned the Phantom, so here's the pin for him. Obviously he's got that hanging lantern as well on that chain. So I don't particularly like chains on pins because they do break. I have had a couple that have actually broken over the years where they just get a little bit bashed up. I do keep them in a bag, so there's no reason for them to break, which just suggests to me that they're not actually that well made. But they do look cool. I do think they look really nice, and just adds a nice little bit of detail and just something that makes it more than just a standard enamel pin. So having that little chain on there hanging off with his lantern is kind of cool. And as I say, Paris doesn't have the Hatbox Ghost, but we do have this guy. And then just following on from that, we've got another one of him here with the raven on his shoulder and the Phantom Manor sign in his hands. Again, it's just iconic. That is the Phantom. And again, love the color schemes that are going on this with the purple and the black. I think that looks really cool. Just a really nice set, this. So I was glad to actually come away with all of them because I just think they are very cool. I love it. It's slightly menacing. He looks really nasty, and I just love that. I think that's really nice. And of course, it ties in quite nicely with this time of year, with Halloween just been and gone. So naturally, as well, when I was looking for Halloween pins, this kind of just struck the right chord for me. So another one that I really like. Now you talk about the story for Phantom Manor, and this pin kind of encapsulates it. So you've got the Phantom there again, but slightly different color schemes with this one, with the black and the green. But again, I really like it. You've got Melanie there underneath, kind of just being like subjected to his bad fatherhood. And you've kind of got him there just like menacingly looking over as she's looking particularly terrified. And then the Phantom Manor sort of ribbon there at the bottom as well. So some nice little details on this pin. I just like it. Again, it's just really on tone, really like the theming of it, love the color scheme of it. Yeah, there's nothing not to like about that. And then following on from the color scheme, we've then got Madame Leota in there as well. I actually think that this might be my favorite one of that set. You got obviously the details, you've got the candlesticks on there, you got all of the stuff that's around her. I don't know if you can see, if I can get that to focus a little bit on there. You've obviously got quite a bit of detail around that as well. But again, even if that was you know, more familiar for like Haunted Mansion fans over in the States, you'd recognize that as being Madame Leota as well. So I kind of just think that kind of everyone's going to recognize that and know who that is if you're a Disney Parks fan. So I really like that pin. I love the colors again, still sitting in that theme. Love the color schemes, love the design of it. Yeah, very cool. Very happy to have that in the collection. And that is all of it. That is everything that we've come away with. So just remember that we went twice this year. We went in March and September. So add all of that to the haul video that I did a couple of months ago, and I've done pretty well in 2024. It's got to be said, plus the Disney 100 that we did back in January when we went to the exhibition as well, myself and Pippa. So obviously I came away from that with merch. In fact, I'm wearing some of it. So overall, in terms of Disney merch, 2024 has been an excellent year. Super happy with everything that I've got, and I have got quite a lot. So definitely a bumper year. And I hope that 2025 may bring may bring a decent haul video as well. So let's go and see if I can find a home for these things down in the magic bookcase. Here we go. So we've got the souvenir cup that needs to go over here. As you can see, we've got a little bit of a Pirates of the Caribbean section there with some stuff that's come both from Florida and from Paris. That's the key that I got back in March. We've also got a couple of mugs. There's a souvenir cup from a few years ago that I also got in Paris as well. So there's quite a few things. There's also the Pirates of the Caribbean book as well behind there. Those books, by the way, get so easily tattered, it's unbelievable. There's also some playing cards there hiding in the dark and a souvenir map that I got from Florida. So that's going to go somewhere around there. I need to rearrange, obviously, all of that, but it's a nice little set that I've got there of Pirates of the Caribbean stuff. So super happy to be able to add to that. That map, by the way, that is of Adventure Isle that I got printed on some nice kind of parchment paper. So not really a souvenir, just something to add to the theming. Back in the day when I actually had a pirate cosplay, I used that quite a lot with that. So there we go, the souvenir cup with the other pirates things. I will eventually tidy that up a little bit better. And as for the champagne flute, well, I would probably have it round here somewhere. Not entirely sure where it's going to go, but I figure it should go near the castle. That back there, by the way, that is the hotel fragrance spray from Hotel New York before they changed it to the Marvel Hotel and changed the smell. Now, some of you will know what I'm on about, but trust me, that smell is unbelievably good, and hence I obviously had to get a bottle of it and keep it. Back there we've got the commemorative Coca-Cola bottle from the 25th anniversary way back when, which I obviously kept. I'm kind of thinking that this needs to go with that somewhere as being another, obviously, drink receptacle. So there we go, we've got to sort that out and get all that tidied up, but that is roughly somewhere about where it will live. Then I just need to find a home for the Tower Hotel key. Obviously you've seen the Pirates of the Caribbean one down there. That's the Phantom Manor one as well. It's a bit dark in here, so it's not easy to see. So we've got those two down there. I've also got the Star Tours one up here, which when you get the limited edition ones, the boxes are closed for some reason on them, as opposed to the others where you can actually see inside. But I've shown that in loads of videos before, so just go back and have another look at that one. So this one, we've got another key. I don't quite know where I'm gonna put that. I'm thinking over here somewhere. I'll figure that out. I'll worry about that another time. But there we go, a few things for the magic bookcase, and a lot of pins now that need to go in my 2 pin trading bags, but we'll do that update in another video. So there you have it. That is the haul video from September 2024's trip. Hope you enjoyed some of that stuff, and as I say, we've got more videos coming up when it comes to merch as well. I am going to show my entire pin collection over the next few weeks in a vlog, and that is because Pippa has challenged me to do it, and she challenged me to do it in her first ever solo vlog on this channel, which is coming up very, very soon. So Pippa's going to show you her Disney Loungefly collection, because you've seen the merch that I came away with. Now you need to see what Pippa got. So with that said, and on that not so terrible disappointment, it is time to end. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. The vlog is over.